Hello and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm John Karabatsis and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Profit Break. Thanks for joining us today. Our mission at the Bowling University is to enrich people's lives personally and professionally, and the Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce costs, and enrich yourself, your team, and your business. If you're joining the Profit Break for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you will be on your way to improving your profitability. In this episode, we're going to continue the discussion on laser tag and focus on how adding laser tag can have a significant positive financial impact on your facility. For those of you who weren't able to join us for part one, I'd like to introduce you to Chris once again. For those that are with us from part one, Chris is the Business Development Officer for BPA Smart Buy partner Laserforce International. And not only is Chris an authority on the business of laser tag, but he's also a competitive laser tag tournament player who's been playing the game since 1998. So Chris, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Last time we talked to kind of set the stage for laser tag and what's the past been and what's the future look like. So today what we want to do is kind of get into the nitty-gritty of it and start talking about numbers and what does it take if I'm considering opening a laser tag. So let's talk about what it takes to add laser tag to a facility. To open and operate a successful arena, what kind of space, what does it take to what can I expect to spend for that process to occur?
Well, JK, I have the numbers as promised.
Okay.
So they didn't go anywhere. But I'd like to ask, what do you think it takes?
Well, from my experience, when we're looking at laser tag, I mean, the first thing I need to know is how much space do I need, not from a minimal perspective, but to make it successful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's important. What kind of space do I need to make it successful? Because I could be building from scratch, or I could be removing lanes. Okay, so how much space do I need? And then obviously the next thing you're going to get into is, well, how much is it going to cost me? Mm-hmm. And then how much can I expect to earn? And then who do I go to for help in marketing it? And how do I learn how to run this business? So in my quick 2-second speech there, that's what I'd be looking for.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're asking the right questions, almost like you have the script here. So, to kind of go back to your question, what does it take to open and operate a successful arena? And, obviously the big question is always going to be cost. Upfront cost is probably what the biggest barrier to entry is going to be when we're talking about opening a laser tag attraction, right? Whether it be new or existing. And traditionally speaking, if you're adding on or opening, we're going to be looking at around $100,000 to $250,000, and it's a lot. But there's a lot of variables, to cost that you can kind of customize to what your site needs. So, the biggest one I'm going to say is, what size, right? Like mm-hmm. you're talking about size and space. So that's always going to be probably the biggest variable. Besides size, we're going to talk about, obviously how many laser tag battle suits you want to, be running, how immersive the experience you want it to be, the theming of the arena, the lighting, the sound, things like that, the effects. And then of course, there's multiple providers and things like that for your laser tag products. So those are going to be your variables, and that's where I know 100 to 250,000 is a big range, and people
Sure.
are like, whoa, but those are kind of the variables you can expect to encounter when opening it up.
Okay, that is a big range, right? Depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. So, okay, all right. So the next question I would have then is, how do I figure out how much revenue I potentially could earn from adding laser tag? How do I do that?
Sure. So, one of the best and easiest ways to kind of project laser tag revenue, and I think this is why opening laser tag attractions make so much sense, and why we see so many of them being added to existing facilities, is it's relatively easy to project. So we like to look at a statistic, player games per week. And basically all that is, it's very simple. It's how many players play a game of laser tag every week, right? The average, So we kind of look at total. You can, divide it by 52 to get your weekly number, or you can just kind of look at the total yearly revenue. And so basically, once you kind of have your projection, and I'll just, throw out some research here and some reports that I've seen. If we're looking at post-pandemic and we're looking at sites that offer bowling and laser tag, right? So just to be very specific, we're looking at maybe 750 to 800 player games per week. Okay, and then you kind of multiply that by the price, and again, that's going to depend on your market, JK, and like what part of the country you're in, and the length of the game, and things like that. But just to give you a real safe kind of number and neighborhood, we usually look at $8 a game. Okay. So you take that 750 to 800, you multiply that by the 8 or whatever you're going to charge, and that's going to give you a really good, baseline to kind of play with. Okay, well, for me and my site, it might be a little less or a little more. You just kind of go off that number. So it's actually very easy to predict, and I think that's why laser tag is enjoying this success. Is you can add it with a very good degree of confidence, right? It's not on hope or faith. Mm-hmm. Like you were adding based on historical and statistical data, right? It's worked. This is what it's going to look like, and it's usually going to live up to that expectation.
Okay, let me back up a little bit. Sure. Too. When you're looking at that range, I imagine a lot of that has to do with just how many vests you have in there. I mean,
sure.
How do I determine how many vests that I should have? What is that dependent upon?
So the industry standard's probably going to be about every 125 square foot of arena, right? So you're going to look at your arena, your space, and then you're going to say how many people are going to be able to enjoy safely a laser tag experience. So usually that number that we look at is every 125, square foot to each player, to each vest, if you will, right? So that's kind of where we get that ratio of arena size to how many players we want to allow to play.
Is there a minimum amount of vests or a maximum?
Yeah, well, minimum you're going to need 2. Okay, so you need at least one person to play against. Maximum, no. That I grew up in a facility that was 3 stories, 10,000 square feet. Okay. So you could scale dramatically. There's sites around the world that 40, 50 people. And I'm sure that number will be beat. And then there's sites that have a lot of success with 20. So really, it's about taking the square footage for your arena and just maximizing the player experience.
Okay, so it depends on your facility, it depends on your market, and so on. So it's some research you need to do.
And you can have a smaller arena, and then what's great about laser tag is you just run maybe a shorter game, and it's a great experience, and you're playing for 7 minutes instead of 10. So you still get that enjoyable immersive experience in 7.
So you mentioned 3-story laser tag,
yes.
and there's a great graphic that I saw that you brought in. That looks like something that's multi-level. Is that important to have to be successful? Is multi-level important, or can I just build it straight across in one level?
Yes and no. I wouldn't say multi-level is the key to success, but it definitely adds value, right? Okay. And just from the business standpoint of laser tag can literally scale vertically, right? We're talking about adding second story, and and if you're not able to add a second story, because of the ceiling or permitting or whatever reason, you can add a mezzanine or 1.5 story, which is ramps and platforms and things like that. So you're able to add that extra square footage, right? So you can really add on and add value. But with that being said, you can have a 1,500 square foot facility, JK, and it can be so immersive and so fun as long as the layout and the thematic, element is there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's great if it's 3 stories, and you know what, 1 story is just as fun.
Okay. Good to know. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the play, how the laser tag plays. So laser tag, like bowling, right? Very social, can be competitive, can be cooperative, or it can be just social.
Yes.
All right. So bowling leagues and clubs are still an important revenue stream for most of our proprietors.
Right.
Are laser tag leagues an important is that even something that's feasible?
Yes, and honestly, compared to bowling, laser tag, it's still in the infancy stage of maybe competitive and tournaments and league play. There's not a professional laser tag league yet. But every now and then we hear whispers of laser tag joining the Olympics or something fun. But right now, in its current stage, JK, we do have very competitive play. Locally, we have things like members nights where you come to your local site and you might play just locally with fellow players competitively. And then you can take it up a notch, and you can go and you can play in these tournaments nationally and internationally, if you will. So we have the multi-level, play it local, play it national, play it international. So and it's growing. It's heading and it's trending in the right direction.
Is there a good networking community? I mean, I know in the bowling industry, the proprietors talk to each other all the time. They're always sharing information. Does laser tag have something similar?
Yes, we do. We have a really good community. There are plenty of social media groups that you can join. As far as becoming part of the competitive laser tag community or being a laser tag, proprietor or owner of a site. And that's one of the best things about the industry, JK, and we do share that with bowling, is people really genuinely in this industry, they want to help each other out. They want to be friendly. It's a great community. I love being a part of it. Some of my best friends are a part of the industry. So we have that community, and it's widely available for anyone who wants to join it.
Another reason why it's a great fit with bowling. Similar businesses,
yes.
Similar people, I should say. So, all right, can you share with us any specific strategies that centers that offer laser tag use to drive sales?
Yeah, so I don't know how much time we have, but...
We got a few minutes.
Okay, so to me, I don't think there's a better pairing. Laser tag and bowling work so well together. They complement each other. There's enough symmetry where they pair great, and then there's enough of a difference where you're attracting different audiences as well, right? So I know a lot of people, they talk about some of maybe the easier things, but I'd love to kind of dive deep and tackle, always the elephant in the room, always, the thing we're kind of chasing, and that's the weekdays, right? How to generate revenue on a weekday. And kind of as you mentioned earlier in the show, JK, you talked about that, one of the great things about bowling and bowling cylinders is the leagues, right? League night. And traditionally that's going to be usually on a weeknight, right? And it's a great time for competitive bowlers to come in and play and compete and really enjoy kind of the more advanced setting, right? But, a lot of those bowlers are going to be a little bit older. They might have kids. Last time I checked, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's a school night, right? So one of the things that laser tag can do is all of a sudden, mom and dad are going to bowl in the league, and you're able to bring your kids, and instead of just saying, hey, go sit there and read a book or do your homework, you're able to run a all-you-can-play laser tag attraction simultaneously, right? Oh, all of a sudden we're playing all-you-can-play laser tag, and the kids are going and having a blast playing laser tag, and they're checking in with mom and dad in between, and hey, mom, hey, dad, I got first place or second place, and I'm going to go play another game, and mom and dad are enjoying playing in league night, and the kids are playing laser tag, and so that's just one of the examples of, laser tag and, kind of the value it can add to a bowling site, right? And then, flip it, you could do the next night is, laser tag member night, and that's the competitive laser tag night. And then it's the other way around. The kids are driving it. Hey, I want to go play laser tag, and mom or dad are like, yeah, I guess I could go bowl a little bit or sit at the snack bar and watch the game, enjoy a beverage. So great example of just enough in common to capture, but also you're able to kind of, spread it out a little bit and, bring in, different groups.
Sounds like there's some great synergies between the two.
I would say I could talk about synergies between bowling and laser tag all day.
Well, and you know what? I mean, some of the old ideas are the best. I remember growing up, and my parents bowled in a league. They would bring me along, and I would have to go find something to do. We didn't have laser tag though. So, all right, you know what? You mentioned about growing up in the business. The first session we chatted with you about your tournament background, but yes. we got a few seconds left. Tell us how you got into the business of laser tag.
So I honestly, JK, I started out as a player. I think just like most people, and I really enjoyed playing laser tag. It was such a strategic, fun game. It was social, but it was something I can compete at. And I remember being a kid and just riding my bike up across the highway against my mom's wishes to go play laser tag, right? And it started there. It was my first job, working at the laser tag arena, and I fell in love with it, honestly. And it's come full circle, and now I get to be a part of the industry, and I love it. So
many parallels between laser tag and bowling. So, Chris, thank you again. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for your knowledge and thanks for your insight. So to learn more about Laserforce International, or if you're considering adding laser tag or want to grow existing laser tag operations at your facility, feel free to reach out to Chris directly. As we wrap up another edition of the Bowling University Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next time for another great episode. If you have any questions for us about today's show or would like additional information, you can reach us anytime at education@bpaa.com. Also, all previous Profit Break episodes are available 24/7 for you and your team to watch at bowlinguniversity.net. Plus, new Profit Break episodes are available every month. So mark your calendar, watch your email, and join us on Facebook to hear about the latest episodes. Until then, I'm John Karabatsis, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.